guys, welcome back to the Kamai Corner. I'm your host, Camille, and I'm here with my co-host, Elisa.
Hey guys!
And today we have a very special guest. This girl is my best friend, and she has been with me since day one of college, and honestly, we've, stuck together, all the time. So anyways, further...
Anyway,
I don't even know. Sorry. But anyways, I would like to introduce my best friend, Dynasia.
Hi, guys. So, as Camille said, my name is Dynasia. I met Camille freshman year. I believe it was my fall semester. Yeah, it was fall semester.
She doesn't even remember. I'm hurt.
It was fall semester, and I had Calc 1 with her. And I remember I was sitting, because I'm always early for class, and Camille comes in, and my first impression was that she was super pretty, because she was really, dolled up, and she sat behind me, and I was really, really interested in making Asian friends in college, so I was like, if not now, for sure later, I would become friends with Camille, and since then...
We're here now.
Yep.
No, my point of view of that story was, I was trying to be on time for class. I was running late. I mean, since then, I was, pretty on time. But, that first day, it was, I didn't know what was going on. I was trying to figure out where to go. I didn't know where half my classes were. I literally went the wrong way, and someone had to redirect me to the class. So, I get in, look around. She's, the only Asian person I saw. So, I sat behind her. Plus, there was not that many seats left. So, I was okay. And I wanted to make more Asian friends. Did not talk to her at all in the whole class period. I honestly thought she was an ABG.
Not a bad thing.
Furthest thing from the truth. This girl is, the furthest thing from an ABG. Not that it's a bad thing, but, the way she was dressed up, and, how she was presenting herself, I thought she was super cool. And then I went to my next class. I wanted to say hi, but, I think she ran out, and I had to go to another class. And then I'm at the bookstore getting, looking for some books. I wasn't, planning to buy anything, but just want to see, what the prices were and everything. And then I see her. So I don't know what happened, because, if anyone knows me, I'm super shy, and I don't like to, go up to strangers. But I went up to her, and she was in a hurry. So I was like, wow, this girl doesn't want to be my friend. Because she kind of oh, here's my number, here's my snap, I gotta go. And I was like, okay. But then here we are, we became best friends. So I think it was a blessing in disguise. But that's how we met. And then I introduced her to all my friends, because we hung out all the time. So I think you guys met at a party.
Yeah, you brought her to a Valentine's party that I was going to. I didn't even know I was going there. Honestly,
that's half the parties.
That's literally all the time. And I met you. I do not remember it that well. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I don't remember it too much either.
We all danced, and we all got roses.
Yes.
That's, all I really remember. We danced, got roses.
I remember eating food. The food was good.
Oh, yeah.
As always. Okay, wait. We need to get into this episode, y'all.
Okay, so now that we're done with all the background, so this episode, we want to talk about, I guess, parent expectations on a child, on Asian children specifically, and obviously to note, not all parents have these expectations, but I feel a lot of them, or the ones that we talk about, you might not apply to, all of them might apply to you, but I feel some of these do apply to most people, so that's why we're bringing them up. Obviously we can't cover everything, but this is just from our experiences and Dynasia's experience. So I guess we'll just start with how things were growing up for you.
Okay, so I think for the longest time, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, but school has been such a big thing for me, especially for my parents, and I think it is because they didn't have the opportunity to further their education. So being first-gen student and first-gen American, I really had to really focus on doing well in school and furthering my education so that I could
have a better life,
yeah,
or future,
or live out the future they wanted.
Yeah, yeah, I guess you can say that. And just making sure I always like had straight A's, and you know, like if you weren't, then that'd be really bad. But that was pretty much how that was in terms of like school. Family life, I am the oldest of 3 younger siblings, so I was kind of also like the second mom of the house. So that was really nice because I got to be bossy. I really like that now that I'm older. But it was also kind of hard because I really had to grow up a lot faster, and I didn't get to enjoy some of the things that most of my friends had to do, and it made it harder when my parents eventually separated. So I kind of became like a dad, I guess, also, and it's just really hard because I remember the first time that I had to help my mom. Well, sorry, I forgot to tell everyone this, but my mom had a nail salon at the time, and I was
Well, she still
like,
does.
yeah, like I think I was 12, and it was my first time that I ever stepped foot into like a nail salon, and that's when I first started helping my mom. And that was like really hard because it's like as a 12-year-old, I should be like outside playing with friends, like enjoying the sun, or like hanging out with friends at the park, or having sleepovers. And here I am spending like my waking hours in a salon with like people who were like a ton of years older than I was. So it was kind of sad, but I kind of like now looking back on it, appreciated that because I've learned so much from being out there, and it's definitely shaped me into who I am. But it was just also really sad because I wanted to just have like a normal, like little girl life, I guess you can say.
Like a normal childhood.
Yeah, so that was fine and stuff. And then when my parents separated later on, it became harder because I was taking my siblings to their doctor's appointment, their dentist appointments, attending conferences, going to school events, watching their sports, and driving them around and being in attendance on behalf of my mom and also my dad. And it was like really hard because I had my own things to do, and I was kind of like really upset that I had to be the person to do all this, even though no one else could help. But it just kind of like sucked at the same time because I had to do all of that.
It's just a lot of responsibility to put on one person, especially like, oh, that's so hard. I'm sorry.
It's okay, yeah.
Yeah, especially because your next sibling is like what, almost 3 years?
No, she's a year younger.
She's a year
Yeah, what's the youngest? Like, what's the age difference?
between you and
Yeah,
your
you're the
youngest.
youngest.
I'm 4 years older than my brother. He's the youngest.
Oh yeah, and then this second to youngest is
3 years
3. Oh,
older.
sorry, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
3. You have so many siblings.
Yeah, I do. So yeah, we're all really close in age. So
Well, that's good. At least you're all like somewhat close. And
Yeah,
then,
you're not like taking care of like a baby. That would be a little.
Yeah, imagine. Yeah, especially that. But at least, so like, I guess to go off like you growing up, how about like your siblings? Did like any of them try to help out, or like was it mostly you for like a long while, and then once they kind of got older, did they start trying to help out?
really gonna have to say no.
I mean, it'd be like that sometimes.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying
I
like.
mean, my 2 youngest siblings were really little, so they really couldn't do anything, and I was like the one that was able to like drive and like was older, so I knew a lot of stuff. So they kind of were just like chilling. I mean, I'm sure they didn't really know what was going on at the time. And then the one that's like right after me, I'm pretty sure she also kind of had no idea what was going on either, but she definitely gave me a lot of moral support, and if anything, like we kind of like went through this together, and so she would help me out sometimes,
But like it was mostly
yeah,
you.
for the most part, yeah, it was my mom like delegating the task to me, and like me trying to figure it out, and if I needed help, I would reach out to
Like then
my
delegate it
sister.
to them, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was like your mom was like, I guess if you were to compare this to a company to make it more understandable for those who don't know the situation, your mom was the boss.
Yep.
And you were the supervisor, and then you were and then
They were
your
like your
siblings-
employees.
Yeah, and they're your employees. There you go.
Yeah, I think that's a really good analogy. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Do
so,
you think like your experience of like you having to be the supervisor and like you guys being like, were you guys really like tight knit? Like, were you and your siblings like closer, do you think,
Yes.
because of this?
I would definitely think so. I actually remember this one year where I was like driving them around, and I was like, "Wow, guys, I think that like we've spent so much time together. I don't remember like the last time like our mom drove us around, or like you guys were with mom." So it was kind of like really shocking, and I really appreciate that I got to spend more time with them because we would have like our lunch or dinner dates, and I remember we'd always go to Applebee's or like get tacos,
Yes.
or then getting smoothies at like the coffee shop. But like we did everything together, and we'd go on like Walmart trips, and it was really nice because it brought us closer together, which is something my mom has like always wanted. Since with like the separation, she wanted us like be there for one another. So in a way, like the bad happened, but it was kind of like a good turnout,
Right.
if that
That's
makes
cute.
sense.
Yeah,
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 no.
no, I know what you mean.
It like brought you guys together and stuff. So then going off that, so like were you guys still spending as much time with your mom? Like too, like you said, like you're like, oh, I just realized that, like, when's the last time our mom drove us around? Like, so obviously your mom was still there, but because of all this, were you still spending as much time with her, or was it?
No, she's kind of like a workaholic. So she spent a lot of time at the salon. So I really didn't see her all that much, and she wasn't really at home until like it was time for her to like come home and like cook, which I felt really bad because she's like tired and stuff like that. So as much as I didn't like doing all the things that I had to do, I knew that it would help my mom and like help with her stress. So it was okay. And I actually too helped her out to by going out to the salon sometimes and like helping her out, mainly being like a receptionist and stuff, and like occasionally like actually having to help run and do some things. And yeah, it was an experience. It was
Right.
kind of like my first job, and it's like really awful because everyone tells you probably shouldn't work with family, which is true, so don't do that. It's definitely horrible. But if my mom ever listened to this, I enjoyed my times with you.
Mom, I know we're saying that, but like it was great overall. No, we love your mom. Okay, so this is like mostly of your mom. So
Yeah.
obviously post separation you were with your mom. So what was going on with your dad? Like, did he have any expectations of you in terms of like family, school, or that, or like was he just kind of like not that involved?
My dad's not really too involved, but like the only thing that he just keeps reminding me is like do well in school. Since I don't have two parents that kind of like motivate me and encourage me by my side, and it's like one half is here and like the other half is like somewhere else. So just like reminding me to just keep going, and if I do anything, just to like do well in school.
So he was just more school oriented.
Yeah,
most of his.
Well, they're both really school oriented.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but like your mom also had these other expectations of you to help with the family and stuff like that. For your dad, probably because you weren't living with him, his only expectation is that you do well in school and you stay in school.
Yeah.
And you
Pretty
think
much.
that was driven because like they both didn't have like higher education and they wanted you?
Yeah, I think so. Because I remember like in high school, my mom and dad really pushed me to like be the best of my class. Like it could be like just multiplication, and my dad was like, "You really need to know this in like 3 seconds," and it actually really helped because I remembered a group of like us had to like take like a quiz at the same time to see like if we would know our multiplication, and I was like one of the first people that finished really fast. So it was a really honorable moment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, throughout school, just trying to get A's and like just school. So it kind of like really sucked in like my elementary years. I mean, I couldn't really do anything, but into high school, I wanted to become more involved and like do more things. And I think, I don't know, my parents really didn't know too much about like sports or like volunteering. So like there's this like time like my mom, she was like kind of upset that I was like volunteering my time to help like the community and doing all like the events that I wanted to do instead of like being at home and like helping her out, which is like a bit ridiculous. But she's past that point, and so it's like stuff like that where I can't really do much of like what I want, and just doing the things that my parents want in terms of like school and like family life. But for the most part, it really has been like that.
Do you think so back to like how your mom was like upset about you doing like all these extracurriculars? Do you think it has anything to do with like the background differences? Because obviously your parents from. Are you okay saying where you're from?
Yeah, Vietnam.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, wait, what?
I was like, I don't know if we wanted that information out there. You know, we want to. Yeah. So like your parents growing up in Vietnam. So do you think like because obviously being here is a completely different experience. Do you think because of that like generation gap and like cultural differences, do you think they didn't understand that like actually like volunteering and doing these extracurriculars were helping you to get into a good college? Because nowadays universities look way more than just
grades.
Yeah.
Like they look at everything.
Yeah.
You do.
And do you think if your parents had known that would have changed their perspective?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're very like traditional. I remember my mom telling me stories about how she had to wake up really early to catch the bus and how I had it really nice because she took me to school. Although if I wanted to catch the bus, I could, but she just didn't want me to. So it's kind of like contradicting. But she'd also tell me how she would help her mom sell stuff at the shop when she was done with school, which is like a different kind of life where she came from. But I also told her like, obviously, this is America and we're not. I'm not like, you're not having a shop selling food or anything. So it's kind of different in terms of that. So she was, I guess, really used to like
How
being
she
at
did
home.
things.
Yeah. And like helping out her mom and like being involved with family life where, although I was involved with family life, I wanted to become a well-rounded individual and like student and like do things that I didn't know and like giving back and just experiencing things because, you know, I couldn't go out with my friends, couldn't really do anything with them. So like this was kind of like a way, I guess, like get out of the house.
Right. If it's like, oh, it's for school.
Yeah, so I remember like me and my friends would do the community service events together because I can't go over to her house to hang out. So
That's like literally exactly what I would do too for like NHS. Like
I'll
I'm
be
like,
like, oh.
do this event too at the elementary school. They're like, okay, yeah. You want me to pick you up too? It's like, yeah. You want to get ice cream afterwards too? It's like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's
Mom.
like,
yeah.
it's
Like
like
you're planning these events. You're planning your hangouts around school events, so that way when you tell your parents, it's like, oh hey, I have this thing for school. So they're more likely to say yes,
exactly.
and then you can plan like you have to jam pack everything within those like things.
Yeah, so I mean, it was really nice, but it's not like the best way to like hang out with people because I wanted to like go to basketball games and I couldn't. I don't know why. It was just no. And like, I guess I never really questioned her. I think it maybe, I don't know if it's a thing, but I think maybe in Asian cultures, like when it's like no, it's a no and you can't really question it and it's just no. So like
Yeah.
you
You
can't
can't like
so,
fight anything.
literally
yeah.
like
So I don't say anything back, so I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's a no, so I'm not gonna ask again. But yeah, I couldn't really go to any of those events. So I think this is actually why I started to get into cheerleading because I wanted to go to the football games and my mom said no. The only way I could be there if I was, you know, on the cheer team, like rooting for the guys on the side. So
Right,
it was
because
a
you
perfect
couldn't be a
opportunity.
football player.
Yeah, so unfortunately though, like there was like pros and cons, like the pro of like being able to like be there with my peers and seeing like a football game, but really big con was like looking at this, like being from the side, so all I saw was like just the sun and I couldn't really see the game.
And then like you
But-
also had to cheer at the same time.
Yeah,
so
so
you
I
had to
missed a
focus
lot.
on.
Yeah, and it was the same way with basketball because sometimes during competitive season we would cheer for the guys, and so yeah, that was my way of like
being there, but
Yeah.
like
But
not
not really.
entirely.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's like a shortcut, but like you know with shortcuts, it's not always the best.
Beggars can't be choosers, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
take what you
exactly.
get what you can.
Yes, but like don't get me wrong, like after doing that and like really cheering, I ended up really falling in love with the sport. But it was just kind of like an unfortunate way to like be introduced to
Right, it
something
was just like
that.
a
Yeah.
it was like because I know you end up coming back to help with tryouts and stuff. So
Yeah.
obviously you
You made an impact.
made an
early.
impact. You were good enough that the coaches were like, "Can you please come back?" So that's good, and it's good that you ended up liking it. So it wasn't just like something that you were trying to do so that we could do these
Yeah,
other
it
things.
wasn't like a chore. It was really fun.
That's good.
So-
That's good. And
I was creative with my ways on like how to get out of the house. So again, if mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry.
well, it's past that.
Well, you did nothing like wrong.
It's not like you did anything wrong. It's not like you did anything
It's
bad.
not like you're going out drinking and doing drugs. You know,
Yeah, I'm not.
none of us are.
But yeah, no, Yeah, you were just like, you just wanted to like do these school things, and it was all school related, so it's not like you were like lying. You actually
Exactly.
did the school stuff, and you just were like, hey guys, like let's do this together at this event for school.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too bad. Well, I mean, after, I think it was my senior year of high school where my mom kind of chilled out a little bit more and I got to do more things. Well, I still couldn't go to like hang out with friends and stuff, but it was a lot better. She was a little bit more lenient. Like I could start going to dances and things.
Right,
But like looking back on it, I really like wish that she said yes more, or if I kind of like, I don't know, just didn't really ask, I guess, and was just like, hey, I'm gonna go to the dance, that she would be more open to that, just because I missed out on like so many memories and like inside jokes and like the high school thing, since I was already like growing up. And I mean, I wasn't really an adult, but just a lot of things that most of my peers probably would not understand.
So, like, how is it now that you're in college?
Yeah, and
Has
you,
it
you,
changed
you
at
don't
all?
live at home
Oh, it's so
anymore.
great. It's so great.
I remember.
I just do stuff.
I remember when we met. I was like, obviously, I know most of this. I was kind of surprised at how little you've done. We have a list of things that we need to do together before our senior year ends.
Oh yeah, actually, once I became friends with Camille and we went out, I was like, wow, this is what it's like to experience life. And then from then, I just really didn't care so much about studying all the time. And I was like, I need to go out and like eat new things and try new things. So I'm really glad that I became friends with Camille, because she really pushed me to like get
Go
out
out,
there
yeah.
and like enjoy life and like
I
stop being a
literally,
little nerd.
oh my god, yeah. I remember we like, yo, you want to go out and do this thing? And you're like, oh, I don't know what to say. I was like, dude, you study like all the time.
Yeah, so
I was like, what's 1 hour?
yeah, so that's like really nice because I get to go out more, and because I am studying like 2 hours away from home, my mom can't really dictate like
Exactly
where,
what you
yeah,
do.
where I can and where I cannot go. But I think now there's like such like a bigger stress on like school, because my mom is not there to like physically like motivate me. So she has expectations, because it's like I'm growing older and I need a job. So it's really stressful, because right now I want to study medicine and become a doctor. And recently I've had reflections about whether or not this is something that I want to do or if it's something for my mom. Because when I talk about my career, she keeps saying like, you know, like do this for me. If you like really love me, or like just do this for me. And although like I want to, it's really hard when you're doing something that it's something that you don't want instead of something that you love. And that's one part of it. And so now like my mom wants me to like do all these things that it's kind of a little bit like hard to do. So like she wants me to go into dentistry and become a dentist with my siblings and own a clinic, or like go into optometry and do LASIK surgery, or becoming a doctor and then like owning a nail salon on the side, which is some of those things is like something I don't love and not of like my interest, or some things like beyond my control. Like I can't manage like two things at once. So that's like really tough for me. But
Do you think that just like stems from like her wanting you like just like to have like these like big dreams and big careers? Because like I guess from her point of view, you know, she doesn't know all the options. Because I know for me specifically, my parents didn't even know like games design could be an option. And then even when I did bring it up, they were still on the fence about it, because they're like, how are you sure you'll be able to get a career? Are you sure like what happens like if it doesn't work? And they're just uneducated. And I think after a while, my mom eventually admitted, she's like, yeah, honestly, I'm like really just skeptical of these colleges you're picking, is because I don't know what's good colleges for this degree.
yeah, I think part of like I think a big reason why is, you know, my mom, you know, immigrated here and she didn't really have lots of opportunities. And she's so incredible for like being able to raise 4 kids and like start up a business and do well in it, and like learning English and like understanding, you know, the way of like American life, which is really like astounding to me, because like I don't know if I could ever do that if I was in her shoes. But I think growing up with like not so much money, she's thinking that becoming a doctor is the only way I can like live life or like do things that she wished she could. Because I've tried to spark some conversations with her, and getting her opinion about, doing other things and having different career options. And I think my mom is really fixated on becoming a doctor is like the only way out and not anything else, which is kind of hard because she doesn't know like there's other options like grad school or like maybe just not continuing my education or something like that. Because like throughout the whole like college process, I had to like manage it myself. I had to like learn what FAFSA was, and like I filled it out. And my mom would be like, "How come you don't know this?" And it's not like they teach you that in high school. And I mean, I don't know how I'm supposed to know that myself,
Right.
because
No.
it's like financial stuff and like bills that I'm just not aware of.
They don't teach that in
Yeah,
high
They don't
school.
teach that. No, I think the advisors, like, in my school, they had a meeting with the parents about it, Like, it wasn't, like, something they were telling the kids. They were, like, because most of the time, the parents are the one paying. So, like, why would they tell the kids? Not everyone, but most of the time, most parents help their children out. Or, like, something. So, they tell the parents this way, like, oh, this is a way that you could, like, potentially, like, make it easier. But, obviously, for your mom, who, like, was kind of, like, uninvolved with the other stuff, like, for her to not know that, like, makes kind of sense. So then you had to figure it out because it's like, for you, it's a good opportunity if you didn't take it up.
Yeah, and like the same thing with like college applications. So my mom really didn't know what was good and what was not, but where I am studying, she kind of like realized that it was such a well-known school, and like,
Well, I relate to that.
yeah, like, so like she understands now, like I knew like how to get there, but it was kind of stressful because all my friends had like their parents help because their parents got the chance to further their education and get a bachelor's degree. And I just was really envious because my friend, her mom helped her out with scholarships, FAFSA, college apps, like anything, and I was here doing it by myself, and I couldn't get mad at my mom because it's not her fault. But at the same time, I kind of didn't get the support that I wish I had, since I didn't really know anything. And telling your child like, oh, how come you don't know this, is not really like the nicest thing to hear when you also have no clue what to do. And in the end, doing all that stuff really helped me out, but it was really stressful. So.
Right, yeah. And then I know, like, for me, like, my parents, most of the time, I just, like, remind my parents to do the FAFSA, and then, like, my dad kind of does it.
I always have to, like, start it for them, or, like, have, like, this is what we have to do. Oh, and then they're like, okay, we'll do it. Or, like, I have to, like, literally, sometimes I'll just be, like, sitting next to them, and they'll be doing it. But, like, they like me being there, like, just in case. But I'm like,
but, like, it's both of you guys, where, in your case, it was just you, right?
Yeah, it's just, like, scary because, like, I have to ask her, like, is it okay if I put this information, or, like, what does this mean? And I don't want to accidentally put, like, the wrong thing and mess up, like, my aid because I didn't get it. So that's, like, really scary, too. And, like, I remember, too, I'd always be the one fill out, like, high school paperwork for me and my siblings, and, like, just not having a clue, but I just wrote down whatever. And it worked out in the end, but it was really scary because...
It could have gone really bad.
Yeah, my mom was like, make sure you don't put stuff that you're not supposed to. And it's like, well, I don't really know, and you're telling me to do this. So it's the same way for college, and it's just really stressful because I couldn't, like, have anyone be there for me. And during the time going into college, I felt like I was doing it alone. So I would always have to tell my mom, like, this is this, this, and this, and the necessary details that she needed to know to make sure that she could help me out, like, financially or something like that.
Right, and then it probably was, like, you were only telling her, like, the bare minimum, because, like, you could tell her all these other things, but, like, she might not know how to help you.
Yeah, I tried not to, like, tell her too much because I don't think she understands some things, so I didn't want to stress her out even more. And
right, and it was just, like, then it'd be a rabbit hole where you had to, like, further explain it, and then it's just, like, you're wasting time. It's just,
so I just stuck to, like, doing it myself, but I've always been envious of people who had help from their parents. Or
some people are very blessed. Some people do you remember, like, that one story of, like, I think it was the actress from, like, Full House, like, she bribed, like, college people, or, like,
oh yeah,
like her child, like, didn't even really have to do anything. Like, their child was, like, just
people.
like given a spot at a, like, prestigious, like,
wow.
college.
And I don't think they even wanted to go to college, right?
I don't think so either.
They were just like, oh, I'm doing this because, like, my parents made me.
And, like, they were just given a spot, just, like, easily, and they didn't have to do anything.
Right, and then we have to, like,
really
work for getting the spots we have and put in the work. which obviously life is not fair, but it is what it is. But I mean, it worked out.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know?
it did work out. So I guess in a way, like, thank you to her that I had to do all this stuff. So if I have kids one day, I can help them. But it was like really stressful and
It made you
oh
a better
gosh.
person.
Wait,
Oh,
so what are
gosh.
you exactly studying right now, like in college?
I'm studying psychology with interest in like studying medicine. So I'm hoping one day, if all goes well, to become a psychiatrist one day.
Okay.
But like right now, I'm having kind of like a crisis because I'm close to graduating soon. So now I'm like conflicted if my academic goals for myself is truly my own or is it my mom. So
I think that happens with like a lot
I'm
of
still
people.
exploring. Yeah.
You know, because I remember. Didn't you say it like something? I remember your mom made this comment about nursing. How she's like, if I can become a nurse, is that really a career you want to do, or something like along the lines?
Oh yeah. So I thought about nursing because I was like, I don't know, like I would get a job right away. And if I wanted to, I can become a nurse practitioner. And first my mom really praised nurse practitioners, but like all of a sudden now she thinks like doctors are like just the best of everything. But
I mean,
It's a
if
lot.
you
They're
are
like, it's
guess.
a lot.
yeah, if you are working in any healthcare profession, like any role that you play is vital. So I appreciate you guys out there like helping us out.
this is not our
especially-
opinion. Yeah,
yeah,
our opinion. We think
especially,
everyone's great, and
like,
thank you for everyone who does it.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you,
it's-
healthcare workers. They're
Yeah,
truly...
especially during like these unprecedented times. So like no matter what you're doing, even if you're like sitting in the office at the hospital, like thank you. But my mom said that like with her level of like education and like how fluent her English is, she said she would be able to like, you know, get a nursing degree. I think maybe just an LPN or maybe an RN. But she knows that like because I was raised here and I had the opportunity to go to the school that I'm going to and like having better English and just being raised here and having like an American life that I could do better than what
Right.
she could. So like it makes sense, but at the same time,
It's
yeah.
it's not her choice. Like
yeah.
there's more. I think also your mom's view of what nursing is a little skewed.
Yeah, so I actually realized this the other day, which is why I'm in a crisis now. So in high school, my mom said no, and I missed out on a lot of opportunities, and I gave up a lot of things just because my mom said no, and I was afraid of like just pushing the limit a little bit more and doing things that I wanted. And I think in a way that like kind of put me at a disadvantage to like doing something, and like maybe I would have turned out differently. But like now also like being in college and her still saying no to some things and hearing her input about what I should do with my career. I didn't think about grad school. I didn't think about nursing, and now all of a sudden like I want to make sure my door is open. Like at first it was closed, and I want to be open-minded and just realize that there's so many things that I could do, and to take it all in and make the decision for myself and hope that my mom will support me and realize that like no matter what happens, like I think it's a celebration itself that I am going to be the first one to finish college, and like I think that just in itself is like a good thing to celebrate. And if I don't become a doctor, it's not the end of the world.
Right, you're still looking at viable career options. It's not like if you become a nurse, you can, like you said, you can get a job right away. And then even my mom, who is a nurse, as most Filipino parents are, she always talks about me going into nursing. She's like, are you sure you don't want to like switch out? You can, if you're a nurse, you can start with like 22 an hour. Like that's a lot. And then you can work up like, oh, look at your cousin. He has a house now. And I'm like, and he's only like 3 years out of college. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but will I be happy?
Exactly.
No. And it's not like I personally chose a career that wouldn't give me a lot of money, like game design, computer science. You can still make a lot of money out of that. That's still a viable and
especially in this day and age, because like we're going so much like
digital.
more digital. So
yeah, it's not like that. And then I mean, you're going the nursing route.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I mean,
But I think
I'm
that's
honestly still exploring too, kind of taking like some intro classes because I have some like extra credits. So.
Did you have like also you didn't like apply to nursing school right away?
Yeah, not yet. Because I still had one more class I had to take, which was so stupid. I was so mad. You do not know how mad I was. Like to apply to the nursing school, I was missing one credit.
Oh, you're
wow.
oh, that's so.
Yeah. So
Really...
I'm just taking gen eds right now at like other intro classes, which is nice. So I'm like seeing what other stuff there is.
Right.
Like you
exploring
said, like
options.
my door's open.
Yeah.
Come in.
Yeah, come in. Come in. Let me see what there is.
I know one of our friends recently, she told us that she is also going in the medical route, and she wished that she's a senior now. She wished that like throughout her college career and even her high school career that she had maybe even like just peeked at like engineering a little bit, like kind of explored it a little bit to see if it like it was like a potential route she could have gone. Not that she like doesn't like the medical field, it's just like maybe
What am I missing out on?
yeah, what are
Right.
you missing out on, you know? And like you said, you want to keep your doors open, and now that like it's like getting near the end, at least for undergrad,
Yeah.
you want to just make sure that the path you're taking is gonna be the right one, because like once you commit to, you know, like becoming a doctor, grad school or med school, and then I'm forgetting like everything else that you have to do.
Oh,
There's just lots of
Residency, yeah. I was like residency and all these things that you have to do, like all this stuff to make sure, and that's, you know, that's a lot of time, and you want to make sure that your heart's in it.
Yeah, so that's like actually like a big reason why I want to make sure that I am doing this for me. And if anyone is like going through like the same thing, like I just want to say like just make sure to like keep your like mind, oh not mind, like your doors open, and like
Well, your
have
mind
an open
too.
yeah oh yeah yeah have an open mind coming into college and exploring everything, and just realizing that like sometimes what your parents want for you is not necessarily the thing that might be like what you love. And at the end of the day, I think it's just a different time where like our generation is more focused on like being happy and enjoying life, and maybe from like the way my mom grew up with, you know, like low socioeconomic status, like she wants like the money and like the better life by getting money. So if anyone's going through that, just making sure like you do things you love, exploring your passions, like discover that and like pursue it, try to make a career out of it, just do what you want and like live the way that you want, and don't be like me and just like put everything aside, because you'll definitely regret it later, because life is too short.
Well, at least
Yeah.
you like figured it out. Like, I mean, obviously you're still drawing the end, but at the time of this recording, it is Dynasia and I are entering our junior year or third year of university, so we still have some time to potentially
Change our minds really quick.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have a lot of time, but we do have some time to change compared to others. But also, if like let's say you're past that time and you're in a career that you don't like, and you can still change. Like
Yeah.
even if
Other
you're,
people have like their own paths. Like not everybody is like on the same like level
Right.
or not, or like what's the word?
time frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you're like, it's like you're already in like this career and you realize you don't like it, you can still change it. But if you like, I feel like if someone really wants something and you really like want to do things, you'll find a way to make it work. Like this podcast. I mentioned it a few months ago, kind of got shot down from like some friends, mostly because like we were like at the time we're like, oh, we don't have the equipment. Got brought up again. Literally spent a week.
And we're here.
Yeah, spent a week trying to get all the equipment, and then here we are on episode 9. So, but yeah, no, like we said, if you really want, I truly believe if you want something enough and you think it's gonna make you happy, you'll find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
It'll probably take like some time and like to go through some struggles, but like
Yeah, in the end, it's
in
worth
the
it.
end, yeah,
It's always
it's your future, it's your life.
Yeah, I know for some people, some friends I've heard, they talk about how, like, sometimes their parents think that their life is, like, the parents think that their life is, like, they own it. So, like, they can control it and everything, which isn't necessarily true. Like, it's still your own life, and your parents shouldn't feel like they own you and can control what you end up doing or, like, what you do with your careers and stuff like that. But I mean, it's just, I think a big thing is the cultural and the generational differences.
Yeah.
Especially being like, yeah, first gen.
Yeah,
here in America.
especially
It's
for like first gen, because we are all first gen Americans in our families, because all our families immigrated to the U.S.
Yeah. So I think like if anyone really relates about like the being first gen Americans or like first gen student, I think you should celebrate that. Especially if you're a first gen student, like it's really hard and it's really stressful going through things by yourself. But like the hardest thing I learned, the thing I learned the hard way is asking for help. So definitely asking for help, and like don't be afraid that like people want to help you or that you're given extra resources, because I know I felt bad, but now I really appreciate that because people are trying to help me out like in the ways that I haven't been helped out before. And so I really want to just like really celebrate where you came from and like appreciate your parents. If you can like relate to anything that I've been through or if I've shared, just really appreciating like all that your parents have done for you and like wanting the things for you, but just also knowing like you are your own person and you are here to like make your life better. And also like it's also kind of like doing it for your parents too, not just for yourself, but just knowing that you're gonna get to your end destination by doing what you want and not what your parents want. So just keeping that in mind when times get rough.
Right, exactly. Because it can be hard. I know a few people who are currently like struggling with that, and sometimes you just have to go on your own. And like if your parents can't support you, and I guess the only way to prove to them is that like you can do it, and it'll be hard. But I know something that we actually talked about in a previous podcast about getting help was how, because of like it was back in the mental health episode when we were talking about like, I don't remember the exact word, but there was something along the lines of how most Asian families don't like showing weakness. So like form of help. It's something we mentioned in the mental health episode where we talked about how because like a lot of Asian Americans will not seek help in therapy.
Very independent.
Because they want to show that they're independent, they can do that. And I think that mentality can also overcarry into other aspects, not just mental health. Like when we're struggling with a test, I know I personally did this like in school. If I was fortunately for me, I didn't really struggle too badly in school with subjects, but for the longest time I had a hard time asking for help or raising my hand when I had a question. So I would try to figure out my own and like work maybe 10 times harder than if I had just asked a teacher.
Literally, some teachers, like, they'll give you the answer if you ask. I didn't know that. Or, like, I would be too shy. Or, like, I don't need help. Like, they taught me this. I should know this.
Yeah.
Right. If I don't know it, that's my fault. But no, literally, people would go ask.
Yeah, people will just do it. They'll just tell you.
Yeah.
I
like,
think
they'll guide you and help you to get the answer.
Yeah,
but
I feel like we should just, like, I don't know.
It's a hard mindset to be
normalize
in.
it maybe that like getting help is okay, and it's not a strength of
like going to
weakness.
therapy is okay. Like people have
getting
problems.
help from anything, really.
Literally, yeah.
Getting a tutor is okay, y'all. Like it's okay that you're struggling.
Didn't it take you a while to like?
Yeah, I did tutoring and it helped me because I struggled in my classes, but during that time I also like made friends and like built relationships and like
Didn't
everyone
it take
likes
you a while
connections.
to like be okay with that?
Yeah, I felt really stupid because my mom and dad would be like, oh, you don't need tutoring. And if I remember the first time I was like, yeah, I'm going to tutoring right now. And my mom was like, oh, why? Like, is the class too hard for you? And she made me feel like really dumb. And she kept asking like, oh, why do you need it? And it just like really sucks knowing that like I can't even struggle, learning something new.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need help, like, don't be afraid to like talk to,
someone or like even like ask for like someone to help you, like whether it's like school mentally, like, or just like, something small, like, hey, because I feel like a lot of the time the mentality is like you have to do it on your own. And I know that's something that we like all struggled with and we've talked about, because like I know for me that's probably why, like, I know you asked me to go like to all these SI sessions and I was like honestly, looking back, that's probably most of the reasons why I didn't go, because I was like,
what sessions? Sorry, what
SI, they're like supplementary instruction, like it's like a tutoring. And we had a study group kind of thing. We had classes together, and she'd asked me to go, and I was like, nah.
Yeah, so I think it was really helpful, like getting help and seeking help, and I think in a way too, like by doing that, you get to learn more and like just realize things that you don't by doing things like independently. And like now, I'm not afraid to ask for help or look dumb because like I'm learning and it'll help someone else learn, and like building relationships and it really goes a long way, and I think that we, like, even in general, just like in your community, like helping out more, I think you don't see that as much nowadays, so it's really sad. But
I also it's for you, like asking for help, especially like I guess like if we're more focused on school, like going to these like extra study sessions and stuff like it's your grade, it's your education, like why wouldn't you want to take advantage of that? And I know it can be hard sometimes, like if you're like really prideful. Like I know it took me a while to like start going. I think the first time I really went to a SI or like tutoring session was for physics, because I was struggling for a little bit in the beginning. It took a while, and then I made like friends, and then we made a group chat, and then like we this is when that's semester when all the universities shut down. So we made a group chat and FaceTime like all the time to like work on stuff together, and it was really nice that I had like a group of people that could help, because I think for a while it was kind of just like me and Dynasia, but not even, because we only had like so many classes together.
wait, for what?
For like helping each other out.
Oh yeah.
Because we had chem, and then like we would ask each other, but then like if we didn't know.
See, 2 minds are better than 1, but more minds than 2 is a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. And now I'm like, this year all my classes have group chats with the whole class, so it's like super nice. So we're working on it, but yeah, I don't know. Has like getting help, like, or being okay with like getting help been easier now, or do you still like have some instances where you're hesitant?
No, not anymore, because I realize I do need the help, and I just don't care anymore. If I look dumb, I look dumb. In the end, like, I'm gonna succeed by asking for help, so I kind of like stopped with that too. So I just like ask help and offer my help where I can,
Right.
just because like I understand what it's like to like go through that. And I know like this whole podcast has been a lot about school, which is kind of like because no one wants to talk about school for so long. But if your parents are like mine, which I'm sure most of the people here can relate, school is a big thing, so we have to talk about school all the time.
It's literally our job, like, from, like, because I feel like a lot of people don't work, or, like, a lot of, like, Asian Americans, like, don't work when we're, like, younger, or if we do work, it's, like, for our, like, parents.
It's for
to
our
help
parents
our parents
to help
out.
do this,
Yeah.
or, like, help out with furthering your education.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a job, so I can pay for textbooks and stuff like that. Otherwise, ideally, it'd be nice to not be working during school, but...
Yeah, because, like, school is, like, our main focus. Like, that's what they instill in us. Like,
No, yeah, that's, like, drilled into your brain, which is something I think we talked about in one of our episodes, probably. I feel like a lot of these podcasts, we always end up going back to school, but it is, unfortunately, I don't know, the main struggle, the main struggle that comes up, like, obviously school's important, and, learning is important, I should say, I guess.
Getting educated is important, especially with, like, the time that we're being raised. There's just so many controversial topics that I think a lot of people need to, like, become more educated and just know, because I think it's definitely, like, helping us become, like, better citizens and, like, better people, and just making sure, like, we're, like, now, like, we have to worry about being inclusive. Yeah. And, like, just being respectful of, like, addressing other people, and, like, so I think it's, like, really nice, just the fact that you're becoming educated, not just, like, going to school, but, like, just in a way that you're learning so that you can do better, not only for yourself and for your parents, but, like,
for others too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, like, it is important, I think, but also because of, like, some of the stereotypes and standards that have been placed on Asian Americans, it becomes, like, a more focal point, and I feel like it's something that is a struggle with a lot of us, so that's why it gets brought up, and sorry if that's not your cup of tea, but this is truth. It's the truth.
And there's other episodes to listen to.
Yeah, we have other topics. Don't worry, I promise. If you're sick of it, next week's episode does not.
Does not involve school. Thank
no,
goodness.
I think it still involves school.
It still involves school,
but it's from California.
Oh, that's a different perspective.
Yes.
So,
we're drawing near the end of this episode, so that's a little sneak peek into our next episode. But it's not just school, but we did talk about other things in that episode. But I guess to wrap things up, any last final things you want to say before I wrap things up?
I think we'll just following your heart and doing the things that you love, being okay to get help, and I guess if any of you want to talk, feel free to like talk to me, like reach out. I don't mind. I can talk more about like my story if like this wasn't enough, but yeah.
All right. So like she said, if you guys want to reach out to her, we'll have her socials linked in the show notes. Also follow our socials if you want to like get more updates and stuff, and if you also want to like reach out to us, we would love that too. What else? If you guys want us to talk about a specific topic, please let us know, and hopefully we'll be able to do it. Or if not in the immediate future, maybe like further down the line. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope you guys learned a lot. I feel like there's a lot of lessons that could have been learned in this episode, so I hope you guys picked up on that. Or if not, I hope you guys liked it at least. Like it was a good story. I hope it was a good story time for the most part. If you didn't learn anything, but other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to hear from you guys next time.